Hey everyone, this is Arathon Hanzo, and here are all the spoilers we got from the weekly MTG reveal of the Fallout set. Explaining the set details were lead designer Annie Sardelis and designer Chris Mooney. First up was the Scrappy Survivors Commander deck featuring Dogmeat. The deck has a lot of auras and equipment, and it was explained that this is supposed to tack into one creature to make something impressive and represent a situation like leveling up in the game where you gain more powers and abilities. This deck also includes junk token creation. Commander Sophia Dakar is the first reveal, a character from Fallout 76. She destroys one legendary permanent when she enters to simulate her crash landing from space. Crash landing is also her quest line from within Fallout 76, and the designers wanted to include some of that specific verbiage for different quests as card abilities and not just flavor. Sophia also creates junk tokens, artifacts that sack to exile the top of your library and play that card this turn. These tokens are meant to represent all the junk that you can pick out throughout Fallout games and then dump on your companions or in storage to keep for later, just in case. The next reveal was Idolized. Shown here in both its normal treatment and its Pip-Boy variant, Annie described that the card represents a player status effect. The card grants the enchanted creature +X based on how many non-land permanents you control, so like a Regal Bunnicorn, but you get to pick who to put it on. 3-Dog Galaxy News DJ from Fallout 3 was shown next, and to represent 3-Dog's wide reach across the wasteland, he has an ability to pay 2 mana and sacrifice an aura attached to 3-Dog and create a token copy of the aura attached to all of your other attacking creatures. The Perception Bobblehead is the first artifact shown off. We're told that each of the bobbleheads are going to have a scaling X amount component with different effects per bobblehead. The Perception Bobblehead lets you look at the top X cards, where X is the amount of bobbleheads you control. Then cast a spell from among them mana value 3 or less for 3, and then put the rest on the bottom in any order. The first reprint shown here is Pure Steel Paladin. The card's been modified with artwork from Fallout and is representative of the Brotherhood of Steel. The second reprint is shown next, a new version of Heroic Intervention. The art featured here is of Nick Valentine saving the protagonist. Next is Arcane Signet with 2 artworks, the first representing the wedding ring of the protagonist in Fallout 4, and then an extended art Pip-Boy version of the card which is only from collector boosters. Following that up is a Soul Ring, first shown as a bottle cap and a Nuka-Cola ring, and then its Vault Boy treatment. Science is the second deck to make an appearance. Led by Dr. Madison Lee, this deck is based on artifacts and generating energy tokens. One goal with these energy tokens is to fuel the new card Liberty Prime Recharged. This robot will take 2 energy counters every time it attacks or blocks, otherwise you must sacrifice it. It can also turn artifacts into card draw and energy. This energy usage fits the theme of Fallout, as in the post-apocalyptic world, energy isn't abundant and must be curated to specific uses. The next card shown off is Nick Valentine Private Eye. He can only be blocked by artifact creatures and makes a clue token when he or other artifact creatures you control die. He does get the new synth creature type. Also in the Science deck is the Saga Vault 112 Sadistic Simulation. The sagas follow the lore path of a vault in Fallout, where we'll lay out a bit of the story of what happened inside the vault named on the saga. This fits appropriately inside the Science deck since the vaults were all science experiments. In this saga of Vault 112, you get to tap and stun a creature on steps 1 and 2 and generate 2 energy each time. Then in step 3 you're able to pay energy and shuffle your library and exile cards from the top of the library equal to energy spent and play one of them without paying its mana cost. Next up is the first Power Armor sighting. The T-45 Power Armor debuts making 2 energy when it lands on the battlefield. It's an equipment though and not a creature. As to be expected from Fallout, these items were not autonomous and required a pilot. It grants +3/+3 but prevents the equipped creature from untapping during the untap step. You may pay 1 energy to untap the equipped creature and to give it Menace, Trample, or a lifelink counter. These counters are intended to represent how Power Armor can be modified within the game to provide different advantages. A few reprints now to round out the Science deck. Open the Vaults is a reprint that returns all artifacts and enchantments from all graveyards onto the battlefield. Mechanized Production enchants an artifact and creates a copy of it during your upkeep. Then if you control 8 or more artifacts with the same name, you win! Solemn Simulacrum makes an appearance in Fallout. When it enters, search for a basic land and put it on the battlefield tapped. Draw a card when it dies. This one's featuring the artwork of Ada from Fallout 4. The next deck is the Mutant Menace concoction, led by the Wise Mothman from Fallout 76, and the deck revolves around rad counters. Hancock Ghoulish Mare looks to be a powerful card. The leader of Good Neighbor provides for all of his neighbors in the form of +X/+X based on the counters on Hancock. Hancock gains a new counter if he dies without one and comes back with one. Nuclear Fallout are shown off in standard and Pip-Boy artworks, full board wipe that gives each creature -X/-X and X rad counters to each player. Rad counters themselves cause you to mill a card for each rad counter you have at the start of your pre-combat main phase. Then for each non-land card you milled, you lose 1 life and a rad counter. The designers discussed a little bit about how rad counters originally you lost half your rads and then that much life, but felt it was too specific and put too much of a clock on a player that had rad counters. So they changed it to mill and maybe you lost some life or maybe you continue on to play. There are cards in the set too that will provide positive bonuses for having rad counters. A reprint from the mutant deck will be Guardian Project, which will draw you a card when you play a non-token creature whose name doesn't match a creature you control or one in your graveyard. The artwork on the card is based on the Master and his attempts to turn everyone into a super mutant. Hail Caesar is the final deck, laid by Caesar or Kaiser. Tell me what you think, which one is it, Caesar or Kaiser? From Fallout New Vegas. The identity here will be a go-wide strat with tokens. Powder Ganger has Squad 2 and will make 2 copies of itself if you pay an additional 2 when it's played, and when it enters it will destroy an artifact or 3 if you paid the squad cost. Legate Lanius is in the deck with the Decimate ability. When he enters, each opponent sacrifices 1/10 of the creatures they control rounded up to include at least 1 every time. And whenever an opponent sacrifices a creature, Lanius gains a +1/+1 counter. Ruinous Ultimatum is a huge board wipe and destroys all non-land permanents that your opponents control. Now we get to hear about some of the different products available with the Fallout set, which appears to just be collector boosters. Then they move on from that quickly to showing some of the special treatments, so let's check them out. These will be art that's only included in this collector boosters. So here's the Scrounging Deathclaw in its Pip-Boy artwork. And then War Room is shown in its Vault Boy extended artwork. This card will also be the release promo for Fallout, so check with your local game store on when it's going to be available. Ravages of War here is the last card shown off in its Vault Boy artwork. You might have a hard time making friends if you play this card though, so this one will definitely be available in Collector Booster only with this artwork. There'll be a total of 9 boardless Vault Boy artworks and 26 Showcase Pip-Boy cards available only in the Collector Boosters. And that was all the reveals. Keep tuned into the Magic YouTube channel where they'll cover each of these decks in more depth coming up, and then the reveals from MagicCon Chicago. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and take care.